Check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Well, we're live, but for some reason my camera is not showing. Check, 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 check. Okay, mic is good. So, what's going on with the camera here? Check, check. Can you see my camera? Is my camera working on your... Oh, no, nobody popped in. Oh, someone was in. They left right away. What the hell is going on with my camera? I don't get it. Check, 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 check. Trying to do some troubleshooting here, trying to figure out what is going on. Check. Check. Okay, well, it's showing on the actual play. That's weird. Check. Okay, well, it's showing on the actual play. That's weird. Check. Okay, well, it's showing on the actual play. Okay. It's just not going to give me playback video, apparently. So I can't see what's going on. But apparently the camera's working, so... Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, Joe. So I can't... I'm not getting playback on my end to see what my camera's doing, but apparently it's playing okay on the live stream. So let me know if you can see me, Joe. There's a delay on chat. So yeah, let me know. I'm having some tech issues on my end, or it's on YouTube Studio's end because my camera seems to be working fine. It's just not showing me what's what's on what's on the video. So weird. Very weird. I don't know what's going on with that, but okay. Hope you're doing okay, Joe. I know you're not in the ideal place right now, but I'm glad you're putting out videos and I'm glad you're doing okay. Joe. Both of them in a better mood. Well, that's good at least. Shirt of the day, Abnormality. Pretty sick artwork on the shirt. I like it. Space Battle. They got a cool logo too. So, new people, hello, greetings. I cannot see the playback, but apparently you can. Joe, again, let me know that you can see what's going on, because I can't see anything right now. So, yeah. All right, well, I'm just going to get to it here, I guess. I don't know if it's working or not. Can see and hear fine. Okay, cool, thanks. Yeah, don't do that, Joe. Don't do that, man. Get I'll see what I can do about getting some organizations or something involved out in your area to put you in a better spot. Don't go down that road again, man. For all your peeps, don't do that. All right, I'm just gonna do my thing here and answer these community post questions, get through those, and then I'll just start talking and chatting with everyone in the live chat. Hey, Practical Rifleman, what's up, brother? Sorry, I'm not getting any playback, so I can't see what my camera is showing, but you guys can see everything fine, which is cool. So I'm happy with that. I can't see playback on my end. YouTube Studio is weird right now, so I don't know if there's a glitch going on with it or what, but that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm doing good though. How are you, bro? I'm going to answer the community post questions and then I'll just talk with everyone on here for a bit. As long as I can tolerate this not having any playback on my end in the studio. So, again, shirt of the day, abnormality. It's good stuff. Okay, community post questions. Question one from One Round Left. Fellow Grunt Brother always has great questions. Yes, in your opinion, what's the most essential battery type to keep on you at all times? Ooh, well, the batteries that you're using for stuff, that can be a little bit different between everyone, but I would say generally double A's and CR 123s. I think the batteries that you would have for like your typical flashlights and stuff, and then batteries for other things to include nods and whatever else, NVGs, whatever you're using. So really, whatever batteries, as far as that goes. Um, yeah, Joe, I know. We'll try and get you in a better spot. I'm gonna see if I can talk to some people out in your area. Maybe get an organization involved to get you in a better spot. But that was a great question. One round left. Thank you, brother. Next question from ACR Protect. How's it going, man? Glad you were able to throw some questions out. I know you missed the last couple ones, so good evening, my friend, man. Been slacking. Yeah, that's okay. Let's pick my brain. First, when am I bringing my punk ass to Texas for a visit, shooting, and a drink? When I can afford it. Hopefully soon. I do intend on visiting a number of people around the country at some point. Money, man. The economy sucks so bad right now, and because of like my food bill and everything, because I have this stupid special diet because of exposure injury and all that. Like everything costs more, and just everyone across the board with the economy right now is hurting. So it's whenever I can afford it. So that was a good first question. No, I'm working at it. Okay, next part of your question. Favorite zombie-esque movie? Oh man. Uh I like a lot of zombie movies. I mean, I've got zombie tattoos on my arm, like I'm big fan of zombies, especially old school like zombie movies and comics and stuff. So maybe the OG, Night of the Living Dead, or 28 Days Later was great. Um, but yeah, I like the OG ones. Those were some really good zombie films. There was one I saw not that long ago. Actually, it was really good, kind of different. I think it's called Here Alone or something like that. Kind of a smaller budget. Not sure if it was a Canadian film or not, but it's actually really good because there's like a lot of like survivalist aspects in it. There's this lady who's like surviving on her own out in the woods, and then comes across a couple of people, but there's like zombies involved and stuff with that. That was actually a really good movie. I enjoyed that one. I believe it's called Here Alone. But yeah, like I like the old school OG zombie movies. They're awesome. Um, so that's a good question. And then lastly, thoughts on paired pistol, carbine, or rifle combo, such as carrying a 357 revolver and a lever action 357. So cross compatibility between pistol and more of a long gun or a pistol AR platform or something like that. I don't think that matters as much unless you're doing like a dedicated home defense or like truck gun kind of setup. I don't think it matters nearly as much. I mean, in the army, if you weren't like a certain kind of specialist in a certain MOS or like a sergeant or above or whatever, you didn't have a pistol, so it was just rifle. And then contracting, yeah, with rifle and pistol, and some contracts just pistol, and some contracts, having everything at your disposal to include, crew serve weapons and stuff. So, I don't think pairing them for cross caliber compatibility is that big of a deal or necessary unless again you want that in preference for yourself for like a truck gun setup or a home defense setup, I think that's where it's most applicable. Other than that, doesn't really matter. So it's not as big a deal as people make it out to be in the gun community sphere, gun tuber sphere, whatever else. Like, nah, it's not. It's whatever you want to use, you know. So that's a good question, though. So thank you, I appreciate it, man. Okay. Last question. This question here from Unseen Entity. New member of the channel, I would assume. So thanks for tuning in, man. Let's see. What, in your opinion, are some of the most gimmicky or situationally niche weapon attachments that have undue popularity right now? You personally think the stun lights belong in the trash in 99.9% of realistic scenarios, and don't think having a dot on a handgun makes sense unless your handgun is your primary weapon by consequence of carrying specialty equipment like, say, a shield. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicky stuff out there, especially like that one that's like the cable slider thing for LPVOs. That thing is stupid. That is unnecessary. They've been floating around forever and they're still made as a bayonet for your handgun. I think that's hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious. It's very much gimmicky, but it's hilarious. Just things like that, like just all that kind of stuff. Like, keep it simple with all that stuff. But those are a couple that I could think of right off the top of my head that are pretty ridiculous. That really have no purpose. Yeah. So that was a good question, though. Thank you, appreciate it. See, Joe, exploring Greenbelt, Boise. Man, you can't go down that road again, Joe. I'm telling you, don't go down that road again. So let's see those, and then one last question from the Angry Security Guard channel. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. He asks, "Have I ever worked in a haunted place?" Yes, I have. So one of them was actually when I was on a FPS contract. I was on a federal courthouse, and all kinds of weird shit would happen in that site at night, and like 3 a.m., like that time period, like weird stuff would happen, like other weird stuff would happen. Sometimes you would hear footsteps and nobody was in the facility, especially in overnight hours. Nobody was there but me. You would hear doors slam, and you'd go and check, and everything was secured up and everything, and like any doors that were propped open were still propped open, like stuff like that. um Sometimes, like, you could hear whispers in some areas, like, it was really weird. That was a really strange sight, and it wasn't like anybody had like died in that building or anything. There had been, so there's a like a multi-level vehicle parking structure right next to behind that property, and some people have jumped off of that in the past, a couple of times. So there's been a couple of deaths there. So I don't know if that affects the conditions of that, but yeah, that place was weird, man. I enjoyed that site, but it was weird because like weird stuff like that would happen, and I'd be checking cameras and stuff and hearing these noises and like doing all kinds of stuff, and it was just the weirdest thing. So that place was absolutely haunted. Um, and then the video I put up not that long ago, that story, the jinn, which is like a Middle Eastern culture, spirit entity kind of thing. So Radwania, Iraq, we went into a building that was haunted as shit. There was a jinn in there doing some shit, slamming doors, throwing stuff around. Like, it was crazy. Like, there was no explanation for it. And multiple, my entire fire team was in that building. We all heard and saw what was going on. Um, and there's no explanation for it. Absolutely wild. So I've had a couple of experiences like that, and they stick with you forever. Um, Been some weird stuff out in the woods too, but nothing that I've like seen, but they're just things you hear. And people out there know what I'm talking about with some of that stuff. in certain areas. And there's a lot of mythos and folklore in my area here. Um, very old land. There's a lot of ancient land here, and a lot of Native American land as well and stuff. And some of the stories that go with that, like Wendigos and a bunch of other stuff. So very weird stuff. But yeah, no, as going back to the question about haunted sites, like yeah, I've worked in places that were certifiably haunted before. Pretty wild stuff. Very I like that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really cool. Um, and it can freak you out, but you just got to keep composure and check it out, see what's going on. And I would note it in my reports too, like heard door slam, heard someone walking around, but there was no one around, and just weird stuff, man. So that great question. I appreciate that. But yeah, I've experienced that before. So thanks for your question as well, man. That was fantastic. Yeah, I've had several experiences like that. So wild. Um, Practical Rifleman. So that was all the community post questions. So thank you for all those questions. I appreciate all of you and all those good questions. Practical Rifleman. Remember the chainsaw attachments for the ARs? I do. I do. I mean, even the shotgun, even the shotgun attachments for ARs, very much a niche thing. I wouldn't call that a gimmick per se, because it does have some application, but it's very niche. Same kind of deal. But yeah, the chainsaw thing was hilarious, dude. Joe, Joe. Anyone else who's just joined, thank you. Welcome for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I am not getting any feedback of what my camera is showing on my end, but everyone can see it. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. It's just, I have a blank screen, a portion of blank screen. YouTube Studio there's something weird going on with that. I don't know what happened whenever they did their last update, but it screwed something up on their end. So YouTube, fix your shit. Um, but yeah, so it is what it is. Practical Rifleman. I would like to have one of the smoke launchers. Dude, I miss my 203. Because you can launch smoke out of that too. I miss my M203. 203 was cool. 203 was really cool, man. I enjoyed using that thing quite a lot. Practical Rifleman, one of the smoke launchers, really load shells for it. Cough, cough. World Chainsaw. Yeah. Well, and then you've got the individual one, like Spikes Tactical makes one, and then I forget the other company that makes one too. Maybe LMT. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, both them make independent smoke or flare launchers. But I mean, they have, you know, it's a 203, or a variant thereof. The GL32 or whatever, same. It's the same thing. Just one's 37 millimeter, one's 40 millimeter. It would be very nice if we could get M203s in the private market without having to pay all the extortion money to the government and deal with all that bull crap. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, Joe. Yep. 37 millimeter flare launcher. Again, Spikes Tactical makes one, and then I think LMT makes one too. Um, and then there's a couple of companies that do make the 40 millimeter launchers for grenades and stuff. But again, destructive device, all the ATF crap. So, it is what it is. So, wish that would change, repeal the NFA and GCA and everything else. But until then, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. 2 Alpha Solutions, Jared. Hey, brother, how you doing? Just getting in here. Just now heading home from work. Yeah, you work hard, man. You travel around a lot. So drive safe while you're driving. I don't have any camera feedback to my end in the YouTube studio, so I can't see anything going on as far as, all that. So as long as you guys can see me, that's fine. Again, YouTube, something screwy on YouTube's end with the studio right now, but as long as you can see and hear me fine, that's what matters. And speaking of seeing, old school NRA mug. I'm not an NRA member. I'm not a fan of them, but cool coffee mug. Just water. Dreadful Midnight. Hello. Hi. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Throw a question in, throw a question in the chat if you've got one, or whatever. I'm fine. Excellent. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Throw a question in the chat. Everyone else, keep throwing questions in the chat. You know, whatever you want to talk about and all that. You know, I'll do this for a little bit. It's really weird not having the YouTube Studio camera feedback and everything, because I can't see anything. But as long as it's working, that's cool. I'll go for like an hour or whatever, and do that. I just wanted to get the community post questions answered and all that, and yeah, just keep it going like that. So it's good stuff. Joe, I think the ATF only gets mad at launchers if you shove less lethal or lethal shells in them. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different shells, mostly flare and smoke, that are not restricted that you can get. And yeah, several companies make them and stuff. But I mean, those are cool, but they're not the fun rounds. You know, I want the fun rounds. I like playing with that stuff. I miss playing with that stuff on for certain things. You know, I have the ability. I am fortunate that with my certifications and position and everything in the private sector, and having some of the associates I do local as well as abroad, you know, I get to play with all of the government heavy equipment, you know, all the military gear, and work with SOT dealers and all that stuff. I get to play with all that stuff, so it's really cool, you know. But I don't get to play with those nearly enough, you know. So I'm trying to talk to one guy right now to meet up at some point and play with the 203 again. So it's been a couple of years since I've touched one of those. And I was a 203. I was a 203 Grenadier rifleman in the Army. So Joe, 24 minutes till Chaw Hall. I think it's just away. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, thanks for tuning in for the time that you will be tuning in. I appreciate you, man. Make sure you go eat some good grub. And yeah. Keep your wellness up. You know, well, I'm going to talk to some people to try and get you in a better spot, Joe, so that you're not stuck there and not going down that road again, if you know what I mean. We don't need you doing that. But yeah, anybody else, any questions? Throw them in the chat. Slow mode, 10-second delay slow mode is on. Helps me keep track of the chat, keeps the spamming bots away, just stuff like that. So throw a question or topic of discussion into the chat, and I will be happy to answer it and talk with y'all about it. For those that were not here earlier, shirt of the day is Abnormality. Really cool, like space battle shirt. I love the logo too. It's great. Two Alpha Solutions. One of your clients had an M16 with 203 mounted. Yeah, you did send me that picture, Jared. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I love it, dude. And it had the old school cheese grater shroud on it too. That was awesome. Because I had M16A4 with pick rail mount 203. It had like partial shroud on it. You know what I'm talking about back in the day. But yeah, that was really cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. You sent me that picture, Jared. That's good stuff. Joe, food here isn't half bad. Despite being stuck around a bunch of reformed tweakers, the Bible crazies. They have too much energy to be, you know, in just pure air. Yeah, I know, man. It's you know, again, I'm gonna see what Joe, are you on Discord? Let me know if you're on Discord, because we can link up on there too, and I can send you some links and stuff to some organizations that might be able to get you kind of moving in the right direction and out the door out of that place. So people join and then people leave. Dreadful Midnight. Yes, I am on Discord. I don't have a server or anything. I'm in a couple of different servers. I'm in Homefront Scenarios, Wired Tight. I'm in the Cardivox Academy, Spearheads, graphic design, like logo designer server, a local closed server for peeps, friends in my area, just real local. But yeah, no, yeah, and then like one or two other servers. So yeah, I'm on Discord. DJ D.J. The Metalhead Mercenary, and it's all just one word, but D.J. and then the Metalhead Mercenary, all one word, no spaces. That's me on Discord. You were on Discord and your computer is in storage, your sister's place, no Wi-Fi here. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, you can get the mobile platform version, but yeah, if your reception is spotty like that, and yeah, you definitely don't want to be using it sucking up data. So that's fair. We'll figure it out. I'll figure something out for you. But yeah, Dreadful Midnight. Yeah, I'm on Discord. You can add me on there. Yeah. Any other questions? Fire away. Still here for a little bit. So this one's probably going to be a little bit shorter than the other ones, just because like I'm having these technical issues, and it's YouTube Studios issue. Like my camera seems to be working fine, so I just have no playback. I can't see what's going on, so I just have a black screen in front of me. So, but yeah, fire away with some questions. I will answer questions and talk various topics and whatever else. Fire away. Throw them in the chat. Ben. Yeah. Yup. Seems to be working, but I can't see anything feedback wise from in the studio, and you can see me in the live vid, but not in studio. It's weird. It is weird, and it's something on YouTube's end. Dreadful Midnight. Do I currently work on musical material? Yes, I have a lot of projects going on right now, and some releases coming soon. I've been keeping it up. I haven't taken a break from any of that. So let's see. Eldarion, the Tolkien themed like epic atmospheric metal project. We're working on our second album right now. We just have to finish up some retracking instrumentally, and then I'm finishing up writing lyrics and stuff, and then we'll do vocal tracking, and then final mix master, and that album will be out. Void Blight, which is a project I'm in with my buddy Justin, who's also runs Vargeist Records out of South Carolina, and then a couple of other dudes who are from some pretty prominent extreme metal bands. We have a project called Void Blight. Our first full-length album is coming out soon on Vargeist Records. And then we have a prior split with the band Filth Eater that is out. And you can find that on Bandcamp as well as some other places. But the full-length album is coming soon for that. I did vocals and lyrics on that project, along with some additional sampling and effect and stuff. And then another project called Aposticum. Latin for the accusation of apostasy. Um, we have all the scratch tracking done for our first full length album. We got some new members, uh, the two other guys of the band, so it's a 4-piece. Getting them up to snuff. We're doing rehearsals and things like that, and we're just getting ready to be able to go into studio to do formally the full length album in a couple of months, as well as get ready for starting to play some shows at the end of the year and into next year from then on. And that's like black and death metal. So think like Belphegor, Morbid Angel, bands like that. So there's that. And then just had a EP drop with my Anointing Maelstrom. That's my one-man Bestial Black or War Metal project. Just had an EP drop with that not that long ago. And then possibly going to start working on a new Odious Emesis. So it's Slam and Brutal Death Metal. New Odious Emesis album. Might start working on that in a couple of months after some of these other projects are kind of finished up, at least in the state that they're in right now. And then, I got a couple other things working on, and then just also doing logo and artwork design and all that stuff too. And any other collaborations and appearances kind of as they come along and stuff. A new Pythonism, that's another one. Pythonism, so the Lovecraftian psychedelic funeral doom metal project. So we just had both an EP, and then those EP tracks are on a split that were released not that long ago. The split is called Imperishable Realm. It's with Pythonism, Fall of Gnosis, and Inner Sphere. That's also released on Vargeist Records. And then we have material already done for another split with friends of ours in a band called Athanasi, and they're in the country of Portugal. We're still waiting on them to finish their stuff. It's been a while. They were renovating their studio, and then just with the nature of the work some of the guys do, it's just, it's a very long drawn out schedule. So, but that split should be coming soon as well for Pythonism. So number of projects going on right now, number of releases that are coming soon. So a lot of good stuff there. So I'm very excited about that. So cool. I will check my Discord in a little bit and add you back, bro. Good stuff. Working on a lot of projects. Need to record vocals for an album for another project I have. Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I look forward to hearing that. Your other stuff you released a little while back was really good. I enjoyed that. So keep at it, dude. Keep at it. Just gotta grind. The grind is there, get the creativity, get that stuff out. So yeah, dude, of course. And then there's a couple other projects, another war metal project, and that's actually with a couple of buddies in Ukraine. Though that is going to take a while. It might be quite delayed depending on what their mobilization may be. And then some other projects and various collaborations, cameos, things like that. As they come along. So doing all kinds of fun stuff. So as far as Decoherence goes, we don't really have anything planned right now. We were working on some songs, but it just seems like Stroda and Pryor, my partner members for the project, they're over in the UK. They seem to have a lot of other stuff going on right now because I haven't really heard much from them. So we were working on a couple of tracks, but I don't know what's up with that. So, but yeah, a lot of music stuff going on. So, and some graphic design stuff. Been doing some business design, business logo design stuff. Been doing patch designs, band patches, tactical patches, all that stuff. Do design work with that stuff too. So, doing a bunch of that. And so things are busy there. And then work wise, things are picking up again finally. So that's good. So waiting for more job taskings to come through so I can make more money, because everything sucks with the economy right now. Everyone knows what I'm talking about with that. It absolutely sucks right now. Getting by the skin of my teeth right now, but is what it is, right? Wait for the bubble to pop. Bring prices down because people are not being paid in the comparative increase that fucking inflation is. So, Dead Prepper, hey dude, howdy DJ, new sub here. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I enjoyed you. I appreciated your comments on some of the videos the other day. Got a pretty good sized catalog of videos as is already. So anybody who is new, be sure to go kind of look back and see some of those videos too, and playlists that I have where a lot of those videos are bundled in there too. But Dead Prepper, how you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, any topics of discussion, go ahead and throw them in the chat. There is a delay on the 10-second delay in the chat. Helps me keep track of things, but also keeps the spammer bots and stuff away that you see in some of the other live streams going on. So just putting on slow mode helps. So fire away with any questions. Dreadful Midnight. What kind of production you aim for, Eldarion? Yeah, you spelled that right for that project name with Eldarion. As far as production, I mean fairly high end production. I mean, it is epic atmospheric metal with some black metal influence in there too, you know. I would say big influences for that project would be like Caladan Brood, and then Ken Bard, and like Emin Muil, you know, bands like that. Very, very similar style and kind of that. So kind of that quality of it. So pretty good quality. A little bit of rawness, especially with the guitars and stuff, but it's a good production quality. And just really good layers to the onion. Half the battle with that is proper balancing and panning and everything of instruments, apart from just the qualitative aspects and what gating and everything else that you're doing with stuff. So, I mean, a little bit higher end production. And it's all home studio stuff too. And I think we accomplished that pretty well with the first album. So I'm very excited for the second album. It's we put a lot of work into it, and you know, with the writing process, everything from the initial composition writing and everything all the way through to what we're doing now with the tracking and layering and everything. So very, very intensive process. Wandering the Wilderness. What's up, dude? Hey, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Liked your AK vid you shot. Oh, thank you. Just posted battle rifle, home defense, got an AR, but prefer AK. What's your choice? You know, I'll use whatever. If it's an AR, I prefer a short stroke piston AR system over a direct impingement or direct gas line feed AR. So I like my piston guns. So short stroke piston ARs, AKs. I have an FAL, you know, battle rifles and stuff. So I like those platforms. They're just more reliable. And as far as for a home defense kind of thing, I mean, whatever's really readily available, and I have several that are readily available, so it's whatever I would grab, apart from a pistol. So yeah, it's just kind of, you know, whatever the flavor is, and whatever is immediately responsive, and what I grab in the in the situation. But you know, I've got a couple of videos with the Zasava ZPAP M70, Serbian-made AK. I love that thing. But yeah, the most recent one was just kind of like a 2-year follow-up or something like that. But I've got other videos too, you know, with it in there, range videos, and then I think one video just talking about cleaning, because they get dirty pretty quick, especially with that dirty ammo, you know, Wolf and Tula and everything else. You know, it's pretty dirty shooting ammo, so you gotta clean it. So definitely, yeah. Dead Prepper, have I ever considered participating in the Seer Challenge? So I do talk to Randall and the rest of the guys pretty often. We're in some private groups together. I've thought about it. I've done Seer type training before, so not really my first rodeo. I don't know if I would be a participant in that, or if I would like to. I would probably elect to go do Up Four or Blue Four as more like on the role player end and stuff. Just because I've already done that before, and there's no reason for me to want to do it again. I've got that training, and it's locked away in my head. You know, having to put myself through that again. While it would be a good opportunity, and it could be fun, knowing Randall and those guys, they're not going to make it fun. So I don't know. It's kind of whatever. But I talk to the guys, and I want to be involved in various ways. And I've done music for Randall, for both Grunt Proof and the Sear Challenge, so I contribute that way as well. But I would love to be Up Four or Blue Four as well. I would like to be on one of those teams too. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, again, not cheap to travel right now either, so that makes it difficult. Joe, real eye opener is being homeless experience. The fact is, people give you their last smoke off the shirt or backs. Or the average person who is greedy and selfish. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, there is kind of a like an unspoken thing, and it's the same with like the train hopper community and stuff. It's kind of an unspoken thing where you just kind of watch out for each other and help each other out. You're all in this together, right? And same should be said for a lot of other communities too. So, I'm going to do what I can to try and get some resources sent over your way with whoever I can get a hold of that has a direct line of contact with you and stuff. Wander in the wilderness. I think I'm going to get a PSA K-47. I've had this discussion with some people before. The quality has gone up considerably. They still don't seat I think it's their trunnions or something else, quite the same way as a lot of AK manufacturers that have been around longer, and the European and Russian manufacturers and stuff. So there are some nuances that people don't like about them. I'm not going to say I don't like anything about them. I've only ever shot one PSA AK and it ran fine. But it's just there are some nuances that people don't like about the Palmetto State AKs because they're not made the same way or assembled the same way as other rifles, as other AKs. So just take that into consideration. But from everything I've seen and heard, I mean, they seem to run fine for the most part. So, it is PSA, so quality control isn't quite there all the time, but they seem okay. So it just whatever your flavor is. So just wanted to put that information out there. Joe, staff here, Christian duty to dehumanize people who are already at the lowest. Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk about that hypocrisy and contradiction with the nature and behavior of people in those groups. I've seen it firsthand too. I get it. Not everyone's like that, but there are plenty of people who are like that. Very two-faced. 12 solutions. Don't be scared, DJ. We will hurt you. I'm not scared. There's no fear there. Why would I put myself into that again? Why would I put myself through that again if I'm not really getting anything out of it? I've already done it once, and it was good training. But I'd like to do Blue 4 and Op 4. I'd like to contribute and participate how I have been. I've done music and everything, so I want to keep doing that kind of thing. As far as being a contestant, there is nothing in it for me doing that. So I love you guys. It's okay. Victoria's dead. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? PSA Crink is calling me, dude. Yeah, and I do love Crink. I do love a Crink. I used a Crink. That was my second to last overseas contract. The PMC contractor used a Crink a little bit. That was really cool. I do like the Crink. If PSA makes it well, if they assemble it and if they make and assemble it well, like I'd consider it. So I get it. Joe says Chow Hall is here. We'll be back. Yeah, Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Take care of yourself, Joe. Dead Prepper, Op 4 is where all the fun is, lol. Exactly. I love doing Op 4. Op 4 is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing Op 4. Let's see. Wandering the Wilderness. Love your PSA. Air 15 mid-length gas tube hex and lock. Okay. Yeah, I'm much more. I mean, hey, whatever your flavor is, more power to you. Again, I'm much more of a short stroke piston kind of guy, even with AR platforms. That's my primary ARs. They're discontinued now, but it's a SR556. I've done a video on the SR556 before. It's actually, in my opinion, the SR556 and the SR762 were the best rifles that Ruger ever made. Why they discontinued them makes no sense to me. I mean, they're pretty upbuilt. They're extremely robust platforms. So I don't know why they stopped making them. Some people would have carrier tilt issues with them. Some didn't. I didn't with mine. I should say I don't with mine. So I don't know if it was just a QC issue or some kind of corporate decision making on their part, but I think it was a bad move to discontinue those because they were really, really good rifles. I've been looking at the Jackal, the PSA Jackal. I have been looking at that one because it's a long stroke piston kind of AR type platform, but it's is it FSBS or whatever, the Polish firearm company? They're going to start importing the Grot, GROT, the Grot rifle into the country, which is a higher quality comparison. It's a short stroke pistol system, but it's a higher quality comparison to a Jackal. And it's also very resonant of an ACR. And I loved the ACR back in the day. It was really cool. And one of the old companies I contracted to, they were fielding a couple of ACR rifles at the time, and that was really cool. But the ACR project is pretty much dead now, except for I think it's like Templar. Is it Templar Arms or Legion Arms or something like that? Some company that does like aftermarket stuff for ACR platform. But Remington doesn't make it now. Bushmaster doesn't make it. Nobody makes the ACR anymore. Dead Prepper. If I had to pick one, AR-15 or AR-10. Ooh, AR-10. Battle Rifle Gang. Yeah. Get the 308 going. Yeah. I would probably go with the AR-10. That's like I would probably go with my FAL over my AR as well. Yeah. Like if I had to pick between those two, yeah. I would go for the one with more power, more range capability, more damage causing capability. Yeah, it's a little bit heavier, and your combat load's going to be different, but I would go with that. Anyone who complains about rifle weight needs to get stronger. That's a good question. I appreciate that question. So keep firing away, everyone. These are good questions and good topics of discussion. 2 Alpha Solutions, love your AR-10. Hell yeah, dude. Awesome. I know I gotta come out your way and visit you too, and hang out and do some shooting 2 Alpha. So there's so many people that I need to come visit, and I just cannot financially accomplish that right now. Travel is so expensive. It's tough, dude. But at some point, I will get my happy ass out there to your neck of the woods, and we'll hang out. It's just water, don't worry. Yup. It's good stuff. Questions. Keep firing away. It was good questions, good topics. I appreciate it. And Victoria's Dead, if you're still in here, I liked your video on raids. That was good, man. Dreadful Midnight, I love water. In 30 years, there won't be any left. Quite the contrary, or au contraire. Uh, I live right. I live in the Great Lakes area. We have the largest freshwater body lakes collection of freshwater body lakes in the world, right near me. We will control the freshwater. We have plenty of it. It would take a very long time to drain those lakes, and they refill from the weather and glacial flow and underground aquifers and all that stuff. Like, no, there's plenty of fresh water to be had still. Wander in the Wilderness, have AR-10, SOCOM, Cold Hammer Forge as well. Nice. Definitely better long range of power, but harder to keep accurate and suppressive fire. I mean, what do you have on the rifle? You know, like as far as like add-ons and stuff. Because I mean, weight contribution, it is a recoil mitigator, but it does make it heavier, so you gotta get stronger to handle. You know, muscle it around. But that can be an issue for some people, and for certain situations. But I've been using stuff like my FAL for so long, it doesn't bother me. So Victoria's Dead never did one on raids. I must be thinking of somebody else then, man. I'm sorry. My apologies. But I like you and I like what you're doing nonetheless. Dreadful Midnight, because you'll drink everything. Hey, you're welcome to come visit me in my neck of the woods, man. You'd feel pretty comfortable, because if I remember correctly, where you live, Dreadful, because you're in Estonia, right? I can't remember exactly. I thought that's where you lived, or was it France? I can't remember, but you're welcome to come check it out. It's very similar climate that you would be used to. To Alpha, just say when. Oh, I know, man. I just got to figure out schedule and being able to afford the travel. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to visit a couple of people at it, kind of in one circuit, at a time. Loopholes, Wandering the Wilderness, Loophole Scope and Tripod. Okay, well, that's not bad then. I mean, I think you mean bipod, but yeah, use that bipod to your advantage, man. If you got to put a vertical foregrip on it too, behind the set of the bipod too, do it. No, Victoria's Dead. I was not comparing you to Trench. No, I bailed out of his server. No offense intended there. Yeah, just you're a good dude. You're a good dude. Dreadful. I didn't move yet to the Baltics, Southwest France, Spanish border. Oh, okay. So you're in Basque country. That's right. My Basque brother. It's good stuff. Wander in the wilderness. Well, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Just gotta work the muscles, man. Work the muscles. Come on. Wired tight. How you doing, bud? Thanks for tuning in. Can you squat over your body weight? Yes, I can. I only weigh 175 anyway. I'm not a big dude per se. This is the most I've ever weighed in my life, but I'm not like a big dude. So, but yes, I can definitely squat over my body weight. I can fireman carry dudes, 250-pound dudes. Victoria's Dead. Basques have one of the coolest histories in Europe. Hell yeah, they do. Yeah, very much so. I agree. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. That's good stuff. Hell yeah. Man. This YouTube studio thing is just messing with me, because there's something going on in YouTube Studios end, because I cannot see anything. I'm not getting any camera feedback or anything. I'm just looking at a black screen. But you guys can see me and hear me again. So as long as that's still good, I'm happy. That's why I started just slightly later than I normally would, because technical issues, but it's not my camera. Obviously, it is on YouTube Studios end. So fix your shit, YouTube. Hell yeah. Yeah, fire away with more questions, topics, whatever, man. Anything and everything y'all got. Yes, I'm going to have a cigarette. Fuck you. I don't care. My only vice. Actually, speaking of, I might grab a beer real quick. Think about it. Let's see. Fatty Westside said, weird. Never seen a few different lives who have had the same issue. Yeah. Yeah. It's I'll read that later. Questions? What is this, 1997? Dude? Story time. Okay. Din Dundos. I'm out. Nice hanging with you. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Wandering the Wilderness. Appreciate you coming in. And great questions, great talk. Yeah, appreciate you. Take care of yourself out there. Amuses me that after everything, and they kept their language. Very cool part of Europe. Amazing landscape. Yeah, Basque. Yeah. Shire, Lord of the Rings. Dude, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous in Basque country. Absolutely. So, back to the smoking. I'm renting, so it doesn't really matter. I've already well paid my dues, and obviously repaint the place and everything whenever I do move out. I've been here a while, so when smoking ban for restaurants and bars and stuff went into effect, that was here in my state. That was 2009, 2010, like right in there. I was home from a contracting deployment, and I was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time. And there was this diner I would always go to, and you could just sit at like the diner bar area, eat, and then have a cigarette and all that in the smoking section and all that. And then I go in one day, like one day is cool, had coffee, ate, and all that. Went back another day, and then asked for an ashtray, and they're like, "No, can't have one." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like smoking ban went into effect, so it was overnight. It happened that quick, and really, really bothered me, and it still bothers me. Other states, you can still smoke indoors. I think some like Texas and then like Wyoming, Montana, and some other places you still can, which is great. And certain places here you can. In my state that I'm in, you can, if you're grandfathered in, go through all this like additional extortion permitting and everything now, and like a super high-end filtration system and all that. Or if you're a dedicated cigar and pipe tobacco kind of either shop or bar that only allows those certain things inside. It's really weird how that is. Just really annoys the shit out of me, because whatever. I don't really go to the bar a lot anyway as is anymore, but still, it's the principle of the matter. Thought this was America. I mean, smoking on airplanes was before my time, but I mean, I remember, my grandparents and all that would talk about that too and everything. And I was like, dude, this is wild. I wish that was still a thing too. Topics, questions, fire away. We're already at an hour, which is cool. I was only expecting to do about this long, but we can go a little bit longer, because normally I go for about 2 hours. But it's just been weird with the YouTube studio stuff and everything going on here. It's just weird not getting that feedback that I normally do from the YouTube studio and whatever's glitching out. So, but no, we'll keep going for a little bit. So, questions, topics, fire away. Anything. Dead Prepper. If I wanted a barrel that was longer than an M4 but shorter than an M16, what length would you recommend? The 16-inch, just standard 16-inch barrel. The standard M4 is what is that? That's a 14.5 or 14.8 or whatever. And an M16 is 20-inch. So yeah, go like 16-inch. If you want a little more zip, go an 18-inch barrel. Just right in there. Anything 16-inch and to more your max length, your 20-inch and whatever, like that is where you're getting the most bang for your buck out of your rounds, out of the performance of your rifle with that caliber of ammunition. Short barrel stuff, that's just not my thing. Not you're sacrificing round performance for a more compact package that most people do not need, unless again they're dedicating it for a vehicle, or some exigent urban operation stuff. Even with that, when I was in the Army, we were clearing buildings with M16A4s. So Soldier City Fallujah style, man. Like, it's doable. There's no reason that you can't train on how to do it with a full-length rifle. But 16-inch makes it even easier to do it, and you're still getting the higher end of what performance should be for that round out of the rifle. So 16-inch or higher or longer. So that's what I say about that. Dreadful Midnight, what is the album that you listen these recent days? Dude, I listen to so much music. I listen to a lot of music, dude. There's just a lot of good stuff coming out. I've got a pretty good list of stuff I've bought through Bandcamp, but my Bandcamp wish list is like twice as long. I mean, there's no way I can buy all of it, but like I listen to a lot of music. There's this one death metal band from Ohio. They had a new album come out not that long ago. It was like black and death metal. Really good. God, what is the name of it? Now I got to look it up because it is really good. I really enjoyed that album. Give me a second here. Nogothula. The album is called Telluric Sepsis. Fantastic Ohio death metal, black and death metal. Just other stuff. Aristarchos, the new Wormed album, really good for any technical death metal fans out there. Wormed, fantastic. New Void Womb was really good. New Inconsessus Lux Lucis was really good. New Etre Bliss was really good. New Howling was really good. Dude, there's so much good music. I mean, I listen to a lot of music. The new Volus was really good. Venomous Echoes was really good. Valdrin, their new album was really good. And then other bands I always go back to, like Throw In, or the new Ulcerate album. I'm really looking forward to the new Ulcerate album. That's really I'm enjoying what I'm hearing of that already. So that's really good. There's just a bunch of really good music out there. Dead Prepper, I enjoy black metal and the Viking shit. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about, dude. You're in the right place then. So, for those that didn't catch it earlier, I've got several projects that are in the black metal and then kind of crossover with folk and Viking and stuff. So Eldarion, that's Tolkien themed, epic atmospheric, like folk black metal stuff. We're working on our second full-length album right now. And then I'm in a black and death metal project called Aposticum or Aposticum. Think like Belphegor, Morbid Angel, bands like that. We're working on our first album. We've already got it all scratch tracked out. We're rehearsing with new members and getting it all squared away. And then we're going to get in the studio and get that album finished and put out. Lord Marco Pedruzella is going to drum on one of the songs for the album too, which is awesome. He's a really good dude. So yeah, bunch of good stuff coming down the pipe as far as all that goes. Other black and death metal, I'm also in a project called Void Blight. That's a little more like your Portal type stuff, a little more grindy, chaotic black and death metal stuff. If you're a fan of that kind of stuff, so that there's that project as well. Um, but yeah, all that good stuff. So, and I collaborate and do endeavors with all kinds of projects all the time. You know, whenever something comes up or whatever, like I'm usually down to get involved with it. Um, so it's cool. And then logo design and all that too, graphic design and all that fun stuff. So yeah, music is a big thing here. Again, shirt of the day, if nobody remembered, Abnormality, really cool like space battle design graphic on the shirt, super sick, and I love their logo. Not a black metal band, but really cool. Kind of your melodic death metal. They're not around anymore, unfortunately, but I enjoyed their stuff back in the day. So yeah, more questions. Dead Prepper, can you describe the average day in the life of a mercenary? Well, so the story behind my name, the Metalhead Mercenary, a lot of people do not understand nor nor ignorantly refuse to acknowledge the differentiation between what a security contractor is and what a actual mercenary is. Um, I do security contracting, you know. I've done it on government contracts in the past, and then I do it for private clients as well. Um, Everything from private military contracting with federal contracts to did some domestic federal protection work as well as a contractor. And then I do executive protection, and I work as a consultant and advisor in the private sector. That's my day job, my job. Um, excuse me. So so that's the thing, the delineation between what an actual mercenary is and what a security contractor is. I just use that because people don't understand the difference or delineate between the two. A security contractor is through a formal company. It's and it's out of a that company is based out of the country that they usually contract and represent. And a number of other nuances like that. Mercenaries typically don't have that formal organization or a company structure in large, and they're individuals that go for pay to fight for whoever. There's a big difference there as far as that organizational stuff goes. A volunteer is not a mercenary if they're not making any money. Also a difference there too, for some of those that call volunteers fighting in places like Ukraine or with the Kurds right now mercenaries. No, they're volunteers. Big difference. But as far as that goes, in the context of a day in the life of a private military contractor, um, so after you've done all the vetting process and all that stuff, done all your training and everything else, and then you fly out and you're in theater wherever you are for work. So it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what your job is, because you've got static and mobile guarding stuff, and then you have other details and specializations for PSSs, protective security specialists, which is what I was. Some of that is doing PSDs or protective security details, and then some of that, a lot more of what I did, was on what's called an ERT, or an emergency response team, also called a TST, tactical support team. Whatever it is. Also, CAT, counter ambush team, things like that. It's a proactive QRF force, but also a force protection force, that does a little, that kind of stuff. So depending on what your job is and what your detail is and things like that, you're going to do your initial briefs for the day. It depends on what your shift is too, because I mean, it could be up to a 24-hour kind of shift. Sometimes, typically they could be 12, 16-hour shifts. Once you get on shift, you're going to have some morning briefings. You're going to, check for various information, any updates on things, all that stuff. You want to check over your kit real quick. We do that a lot. Obviously, it's a habitual thing doing basic PMCS and whatever else, but you're checking in your kit and all that stuff. If any additional weaponry is being issued out to you for the detail for that day, whatever it may be, or if so it could be that we're in response mode, geared up with our armored vehicles ready to respond to rescue, recover, extract, or support another team, to include military, because we do support them too, and State Department entities and stuff, apart from our other contractor teams. So just kind of in a holding pattern there, doing some stuff, and just kind of monitoring the situation and figuring out, what's going on, and just being in that readiness status. And then for protective security details, it could be, because I've done a couple of those too, and then executive protection, I do that as well. So then you do your initial, what's called advanced work or advanced planning. I've got videos on that on my channel here that I talk about that stuff. So you're going out before any actual like operation or protective detail or anything is done. You're going out, you're doing eyes on threat assessments, risk assessment, surveillance, reconnaissance, all that stuff. That's all compiled into what the advanced plan is, and then you can develop your operation package for that detail, and things like that. And then you do the detail. You go from where your station is, base station, whatever, to wherever point you're going to pick up your principal, the VIP, to pick up the principal, and then going from that point A to point B, and then back, and implementing driving techniques and things like that. So when it comes to the QRF, the ERT side, there's a lot of versatility to it, because we're not just QRF per se. And we've got designated defensive marksmen, so defensive snipers. We've got those. We've got a number of other things that we do as part of the ERT, apart from just on readiness status as a QRF. It could be that they need additional personnel for a convoy protection, or for additional personnel for a PSD, or whatever it is. So then we go do that. I did a lot of what was called a trunk monkey. So I would be like in the up armored SUV. I would be the guy in the back looking out the back I would have my rifle and stuff, and then I would have a belt-fed support weapon. Sometimes, depending on the vehicle, I'd be up in the turret. And I would trade off with a couple of guys doing that. The other two rear seat side gunning guys in those vehicles, we call them window lickers. I would trade off with them sometimes for that kind of stuff. But again, because I'm not a real big guy, I'm 5'8", 175. I fit real well in the back, being the trunk monkey, so that was usually my position. So, but yeah, so it's just a number of things. You wake up, get around, work out, do your things, updates, checks, and all that, and you're on duty and everything, and you go through the day and do that stuff, and then whenever it ends, then you go back, turn in whatever gear you need to, clean whatever you need to, and then if you're going to work out in the evening, do that, and then just rack out, entertain yourself, whatever. Usually it was 1 to 2 days on, sometimes 3 days on, and then like a day or 2 days off. And it would kind of rotate like that throughout the week. And then it's usually like 3 months in theater, 1 month off, where you can travel and do whatever. So it's kind of a 3 on 3 off monthly rotation kind of thing for year contracts or 3-year contracts, or whatever it is. That's just kind of how the structure and everything is there. So we can do a number of different things at any given time, just depending on, what the missions and objectives are for the day, and whatever we're needed to do. So hopefully that answers some of those questions, some of that question. Dreadful Midnight, have a recommendation, not into death metal, but years ago I bought a CD from Danish band Deus Odiosus, and the album Murder is very cool. I'll have to check that out. I feel like I've heard them before, but it's a good recommendation. I'll check it out. Victoria's Dead, 95% of all US PMC jobs will have you absolutely bored to tears. Yeah, some jobs will, absolutely. Depends when you are in, or where you are and what you're doing, though, too. in the private client side doing executive protection, I did a lot in Central and South America. And you keep busy, being a armed glorified babysitter of sorts, but you're a protector, but you have a lot of work to do because it's smaller teams a lot of the time. So you have a lot of duties and tasks that you have to do and accomplish before any actual protection detail happens, so there's a lot of work involved with it. When it comes to the actual like PMC work and everything, like, yeah, there are periods of boredom where you don't have anything going on. Oh, the next principal isn't coming into theater for 2 weeks. Okay. So we need to figure out if there's other taskings that we need to do, and then if we're going to be on readiness status for if something bad happens and we need to respond as a QRF or whatever. Um, or again, conduct counter ambush operations or whatever it is. We do a number of those things. So any given time, there could be a number of different things that could be going on. So, Dev Prepper, is it structured like the military or is it more casual? As far as like personality and stuff, it's a corporate structure. So, you've got your team leader, you got your team leader and shift leader, and then you've got managers. You have managers. So it's kind of a military structure, but it's much more on a corporate business structure side. Um, so you've got all your PSSs and your guards and stuff like that, and then your team and shift leaders and stuff. For ERT teams and PSD teams, the team leader is with you guys. For a guard force, you might have one or two team leaders for 20 dudes, and they're all wherever they are on the base, doing force protection or whatever else. So that really depends. But then the structure from there, again, managers, and you've got your company side managers, and then you've got the was it DCMA? You got the contract manager people on the government side that you have to deal with as well from time to time, and then also DSS, diplomatic security service guys, State Department guys, and DoD guys. Like, you're dealing with them too, so you're around that structure, even if the company you're with isn't a military structure. It's a corporate structure, it's a business structure. So but I mean, pretty much all the guys, especially overseas, are all prior military. So there's that element of that structure from the military still there to an extent, but it is more casual, which is really nice. You can be much more personable with your leadership and everything. You're not gonna be treated like shit like you are in the military or were in the military. So it is a lot better like that, and you get paid more, and paid better. So that's kind of how that is too. So corporate structure, typical business structure, like what you would see at any kind of corporate thing otherwise here in the States or whatever. It's just you happen to be in a company that deals with protecting people and carrying some serious hardware, so military equipment and everything. So and they rely on you to have those military law enforcement skills and everything to use them to do your job, for that company. So let's see, an extra grind, just joking, pardon, I'm off topic, but full stack or modulator? Oh, so full stack or half stack or full stack. I prefer, my favorite amp of all time, and it is a solid state, is the Line 6 Spider 4 live cab. I've got one of those. And then I have a smaller practice like studio version of it right here next to me. That's one of my favorite amps. It is a solid state, but I love the crunch and snarl and tone I get out of it. I do like tube amps too. I hate dealing with tube amps. If you know what I mean. I have a Crate Blue Voodoo, a BV120H. It's actually at the jam spot right now at my buddy's place at the jam spot for Aposticum, because I'm considering selling it to him. And he runs Angle. I think it's an Angle head with all kinds of awesome mods to it, and then Vader cabs and stuff. But yeah, no, I much prefer cab setups over or stack setups, rack and stack setups over modulators. An extra grind is the money for PMC still as crazy as it was, like 500 a day just to stand around Chow Hall with a rifle? Yeah. It doesn't pay as good at times. You can expect anywhere between, depending on what contract you're on, what job you're doing, your position, your specialty, a number of other things. Expect anywhere between 350 a day and 1,000, maybe a little bit more a day. If you're like an OGA, other government agency contracting, we're talking like GRS, for the agency, and some of those jobs, like the 13 hours guys and stuff, those guys are making big bucks. Doing ERT, average is somewhere around 550 to 750 a day. Or it can average to about that. Some companies aren't paying that as much. Some are. It just depends. That's kind of a wild. It's kind of a wild diversity in that regard. I mean, there are brackets, but it's pretty diverse within that bracket, just depending on what you're doing. So static guards and mobile guards are going to make a little bit less, but it's still good money. Yeah, it can be. So. Dreadful Midnight, do you have feedbacks on French Special Forces units? I think they're I think they're pretty stand-up guys. I have trained and worked alongside the French before. It was oh god, which some of the Foreign Legion guys as well. So like commando forces. I forget whichever ones are the desert warfare specialists. I forget which group of legionnaires that is. Worked with some of them overseas. They were cool guys. And special forces guys, like, yeah, I mean, they're the best of the best for a reason, right? As far as like typically with conventional military forces, I mean, yeah, French SF units, I mean, they're good at what they do. When it comes to, and this is for any conventional military force, when it comes to the bureaucracy and policies that trickle down from government, it can make your job harder to do, obviously. But with special forces, especially, they have a lot more play and autonomy with what they can do in large part. So, but no, they're cool guys. The French guys are cool. I'm cool with them. The Italians were weird. They were a little weird, but the French guys are cool. An extra grind, never owned a tube, but someday would love a no BS full stack like a Red 7 or Driftwood. Ooh, yeah, that would be sweet. Vader cabs, look at Vader cabs too. Vader cabs are really nice too. It's what my buddy Jake runs in Apostigum. They're really, really nice cabs. As far as heads go, yeah, angle's a good way to go. I really would like line 6 because they have they don't make them anymore, but it's a line 6 Spider Bogner tube head, or like fusion tube solid state head. It's really weird, but I want one. I really want one, because it gives me that same crunch and tone I love out of the Spider series amps, but it also has the fullness of a tube. Problem is, I guess they have transformer issues in them, so I would have to upgrade the transformer in it. But a line 6 Spider Bogner head would be awesome. That would be really cool. I'm really happy with the Spider heads though, but there's a problem with contrast between a solid state head and a tube head live. You get a lot more hiss out of a solid state head. So you have to use like noise gate pedals and some other stuff, unfortunately. You can accomplish running the two between two guitars. You can accomplish running one and the other together, but it takes a lot more tinkering and a lot more additional things to really make it sound conducive. Because otherwise you're going to have a weird sound quality dynamic to it. So as much as I hate that, because I really like running my Spider 4 solid state head, and other dude in the band is running his angle tube head, and sounds great for practice, but it's just one of those things. It's just like, I really want to use this, but gotta kind of find a middle ground to make sure things work for everyone. That's compromise in a band, especially with good people, good reliable people, and good musicians. And nobody has like a big head about them or anything, so you have to make some of those gear compromises sometime. Unpopular an extra grind. Unpopular opinion. Regular infantry have it harder, more dangerous, and more demanding than special forces. Yeah, no, absolutely, no, you're right. And a lot of SF guys say that too. They do. They have a lot more support than we do. To include after we get out of the military, they have a lot more support than we do, in that regard. But no, it's absolutely extremely dangerous for grunts, out there. And man, I mean, like '07, God, that was one of the worst years for IED deaths, IED attacks and deaths. It was so bad that year. It was almost day after day. It was so regular. 2 Alpha, pop and smoke. Be safe, brother. Hey, you too. Drive safe, man. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, Jared. But yeah, as far as like grunts go, yeah, '07 was absolutely ridiculous, dude. It was bad. And I mean, even a couple of years after that, it was pretty bad. But those early years, yeah, up through really up through like '08, '09, but like '07 was just insane. Yeah, it was bad, really bad. But no, you're absolutely right. It is extremely dangerous. You're a conventional frontline line unit force. You don't get to pick and choose your operations. The command, the leadership does, but you don't get to pick and choose your operations. You don't get to pick and choose, all this and that. You're required to be, you know, loaded to the teeth with all the equipment possible. Anything and everything under the sun that isn't nailed down. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. And extra grind. Just learned about Emperor guitar cabs, highly customizable. 6x12. Yeah. Emperor cabs are really nice too. Actually, you got me thinking now, man. I wouldn't mind one of those. That would be cool. Emperor cab would be cool. All the nice things, never enough money to go around. I've actually, so it's interesting. I have a Fender FM 412 half cab. It's weird because it's a 4 ohm input and not an 8 ohm input like what you normally see nowadays. So it's very strange. Definitely a could be called a retro cab now. I don't use that one in the Apostlegum project, but very much a retro cab now because they're not made anymore. They're Korean made Fender cabs. And as it says, 412 inches. But yeah, really weird 4 ohm input on it. I ran my Blue Voodoo through it with 8 ohm to 4 ohm, and probably not great in the long run, but it ran. Sounded great. So I think underloading tube amps like that though isn't good to do necessarily. So lessons learned from the past. It's not like the people at the music shop where I bought the thing at knew what they had or what they were talking about either. So. An extra grind, regular grunts get their hearts broken again and again, over and over. No respite, and still have to put out every time. Yep, absolutely right. Yep. Hey, good job. Guess what tomorrow is? Do it again. Yep. So, yeah, that level of redundancy, repetition, and it builds character, but at the same time, you're putting yourself out there. You are put out there. Dreadful Midnight. Need to get a Jackson reverse head. Love these guitars. Yes, Jackson. A lot better before Fender bought them, but Jackson is still awesome. It's still my favorite guitar. I'm a Jackson fanboy for life. Dinkies. Dinkies are just they're my thing. I'm a tard for Dinky, Jackson Dinkies. So yes, Dreadful Midnight. Go buy a Jackson reverse headstock. Delicious. Joe Morgan, back from Chow. We got in the door. Okay, 8 o'clock. Spaghetti and wiping each other's face was kind of cute. An extra grind. Can you explain ohms to me like I'm retarded? I'm not even great at explaining them, and I did sound tech stuff for a while. So ohms is a level of frequency and power output from a amp head or say like a sound patch rack for a live sound system and stuff. Certain powered units have certain output frequencies and levels of electricity that they put out. And that's basically an ohm. I don't know. There's some deal with like resistance in there too, and some other stuff. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electrical guy, so I don't. That's the best as I can explain it. uh, Dreadful Midnight, Valfar from Windier had one back then. Yeah, yep, he did. Windier, great band. I think I've got every Windier album on CD. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, it's clearer than you've ever heard it explained. I mean, that's extremely caveman version of it, but that's about as much sense as I can make about it without it getting in the weeds. I mean, I could look up a definition, I guess, but I mean, anyone can do that. Yeah, it's just the the power frequency that for powered systems out to connect to. It's just whatever that power is. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not an electrician, so I don't know. Two terminals, batteries, lick them. I don't know. Joe, since they moved the nom vet out, they're moving someone new in. Oh, okay. Well, feel them out, I guess. An extra grind. It's crazy. I stopped playing electric guitar for 17 years, and when I picked it back up, all the kids are using computers and shit. Feel like a boomer, dude. It's been a weird learning curve, even over the last, I don't know, 15 years. It's been a weird learning curve. Because I still like for some of my projects, I still mic an amp, you know, and a lot of time qualitatively in the studio, that's still one of the best ways to do it, or a mix of dry feed and miking an amp. And then getting those different track layers and everything, and then mixing it with that. Um, I kind of like doing it in a hybrid way because I still really like doing it the old school way, but there's all this new stuff now. Dry feed has its limitations. A lot of the time, you can tell if it's dry feed unless you have good digital amps that you're working with and a number of other digital pedals and stuff. Otherwise, you're going to know it's dry feed. Um, I like that organic quality of miking an amplifier and playing that way. Like and I think we need that organic quality still when it comes to tracking, recording, and everything. Because when it's all digital, like you can absolutely tell. Um, at least to someone who's been around it for so long and it listens to so much music. And I know you're like that too, and a lot of people are too. You can tell. Um, and so I don't mind feeling a bit like a boomer with that because there's qualitative aspects to doing that need to still be done, in my opinion. Um, so you're not wrong there. And again, it is a learning curve. Having been exposed to different mixing programs now and everything, whether it's Reaper, whether it's Pro Tools, you know, the high end of Mixcraft, whatever, and like Audacity. I use Audacity for some stuff because it's free and it's very simple. You still have a lot to work with there, just a number of things. Being exposed to all those and already knowing my way around a soundboard, helps. But yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve. There's a lot of great tutorials out there though, and you can accomplish a lot with the digital setups, but I think a mesh of digital and doing stuff in a more analog sense, mashing them together is really, as far as for in the future, is the better route than just going all digital. So Dreadful Midnight. I can't mic my amp. I use a VST amp. Some sound great, at least for what I'm doing. Yeah, no, totally. Like I said, some VSTs, some digital amps sound really good. Some of the Bogner ones are great. Line 6 has some good ones, and there's a number of other ones out there too. There are some really good ones out there, and you can accomplish a lot with them. It's just with your ear, if you have a bit of a honed ear and are used to hearing a lot of live sound apart from older albums and stuff, and listening to new stuff, like you can just hear the difference, however minute that may be, but you can hear it. It's not a bad thing though. But I think at any opportunity, or ability to, doing both is going to be a lot better in the long run. But keep doing what you're doing, man. I like your stuff. Dreadful Midnight. I like your stuff. An extra grind. Sense that authentic music made by sentient humans will become more rare and less popular in the coming few decades. Good news is analog equipment will be a hot commodity. Hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope you're wrong to a certain extent too. I think more than any time in history, there are more bands, and I'm just talking, as far as rock and metal and all that. There are more bands now than there ever have been in history, in the history of modern civilization, which I think is a good sign. It could be a very difficult and at times competitive market though, but there are more bands now than there I think ever has been. And that's a good sign. So I think that's a good counterpoint to that. And that I hope that people keep learning instruments and all that, because uh, instrument music teachers and stuff, they're having a hard time of it right now too, because there's less people. There seems to be less people going for music lessons, unless they watch a lot of like YouTube personalities and just really enjoy music otherwise, and have some kind of inclination or drive or interest in it. There's not as many people going for music programs and music education and whatever, or just picking up an instrument, which is weird because there's more bands than there ever has been. So I think a lot of people are learning on their own, or they're taking private courses and things like that, or just learning how to read music or tabs. I'm a tabs guy, so that's a good thing. It's a really interesting time, that's for sure. And I hope analog, at least some elements or some degree of analog, sticks around too. So I hope so. And he says, in the meantime, I'm absolutely loving this Jackson SL2 MG. Dude, it's a sweet guitar, dude. I love that like matte green, OD green finish on it too, man. It's a sexy guitar. I like that thing, man. Yeah, it's really cool. I thought about, I was looking at seeing if they had a 7-string version, because I want to get, so for Apostacum, because I mean it's a long-term project. I've got the one JS CR 7-string dinky, but I would like to get another one, just so I have two in case something happens. So I was looking at the SLs and I want to see if they got a 7-string. Might pick one of those up. Yeah, there are so many rock and metal bands now. It does seem strange, yeah. Decline in popularity, I mean, to a degree, but at the same time, like, there's a lot wider reach now because of the internet and all these different streaming platforms and YouTube and everything. It is a very interesting dynamic. I absolutely agree. Because I mean, I've got one of my projects on Spotify. Another has a couple of releases. That's through a label on Spotify, though. Spotify doesn't pay crap though to artists. Like, if you don't have like hundreds of thousands of of streams and listeners, like, you're not making money on that platform. This is the curse of underground or extreme music, right? Bandcamp has been good to me and to my bandmates and all the projects and everything. Like, I really like Bandcamp and YouTube, like the promotion channels. Like, a lot of those guys have been great. That's good PR, free PR, and that's really been cool too. So, I mean, there's the reach and accessibility has I mean, you never had it like it is now. So it's, that's a good thing. So I think there's a much broader audience now, even though it still seems like stuff is underground, which is fine. You gotta love and support the underground. Um, you don't at the same time see bands getting to that level like you saw the hair metal bands or the early 90s metal bands and stuff, like exploding into these like superstar figures of sorts, subjective, to whatever relevance that is. For the rock and metal community, you don't see that kind of thing anymore. It is much more a grind now. Even with guys like bands like Black Dahlia Murder and stuff. It's a grind, still. And that's okay, but it's not the same as it used to be in that context either. Which is interesting to see as well. I think that's part of that shift with social and digital culture, I think, as well, and just how music industry is now, and just like all that stuff involved. I think there's some direct effect from that. So, Dreadful Midnight found a synth that summoning used a lot on an album. The SRX Orchestra by Roll. Oh yeah, yeah, that's all, dude. I love summoning. That's awesome, dude. The SRX, a Roland. That's awesome. One of the drum kit I use for all my anointing maelstrom stuff, that's a Roland, that's a patch Roland kit. I have a video for the drum program that I use coming out this coming week. Because I use Hydrogen for a dedicated drum program. I use Hydrogen, but it's got live kits, like people recorded each part of the drum kit instrument and then patched it in, so you have that. So the kit that I use for Anointing Maelstrom, and part of the kit I use for Odious Emesis is a Roland kit, which is really cool. An extra grind can appreciate the newer metal, but I'm definitely kind of put off by bands like Lorna Shore, Ginger, or Culture. Yeah, some of them I can't get into. And I think part of that is some of the stylistic things with some of the subgenres, like deathcore now, and Lorna Shore's in there. Deathcore now. One of the modern deathcore bands I do like is called Distant. They're just heavy as hell. I like them, but and Signs of the Swarm is pretty good too. But a lot of those bands, that's the style of deathcore we see now, is not deathcore from the earlier 2000s, which is the deathcore I prefer as far as that subgenre goes. Different. It's a shift in play, a shift in sound and style and stuff, and wasn't ever really that big a fan of like new metal. Like first two Slipknot albums, I heard, I had those for a long time, and just stuff like that. But like, I never got into that genre really, and I enjoy, as far as like simple riffs and lowbrow stuff, like war metal, bestial black metal. That's my kind of thing with that. Otherwise, like, yeah, I'm much more, death metal, black metal. I love, again, early 2000s metalcore. Metalcore now is not the same subgenre as metalcore was back in the day. And I like that older stuff. That's what I grew up on, and that's what I like. Yeah, and aside from like metalcore, I'm not used to hearing as much clean singing as I am in a lot of the projects right now too, which I actually don't like all that much. Some songs or some bands can do it well, but yeah, no, you gotta keep it extreme, right? I like harsh vocals and extreme vocals a lot more when it comes to that kind of stuff, and that for that kind of music qualitatively, again, by subgenre and stuff. So yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of a lot of those bands. Now with like Lorna Shore, I mean, they play fast and they have some good chops and stuff, and Will Ramos's voice is phenomenal. But yeah, I just, I've listened to a couple of their albums, but it's not something that I go and re-listen to. When it comes to songwriting, like writing hook riffs, stuff that's going to put that earworm in and catch people and stuff, like it seems like a lot of bands are, again, in certain subgenres, are missing doing that, you know. Dreadful Midnight, Hydrogen, yes. He used that in 2014, 2015 when I started to record music. It's a cool drum machine. Hey, dude, it has some limitations, but it's a really good program. It's still around. You can freely go download it. You know, there's a new version out. You go download it. There's a bunch of great kits to patch into it out there. So why not, right? Free is the best price and it's Linux based. Come on, win. And Hexagon, early 2000s deathcore was much different than whatever hybrid fusion mariachi jazz they whip up nowadays. Yeah, exactly. Is it way different? New metalcore, god awful, terrible. Go back to what metalcore was, please. Yeah, Nick Nocturnal, quote me on that. Fuck, go back to what it was because that was excellence, pure excellence. Next grind. Very few bands mix clean and dirty vocals well. I just throw the stereo off my balcony. Whatever. Let's go through a lot of stereos, bro. That's funny, dude. Dreadful Midnight love symphonic black metal, especially like Tartarus, Obsidian Gates, Sirius from Portugal. Man. Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good symphonic black metal out there. Darkest Hour is peak metalcore, dude. They're up there, man. Undoing Ruin, love that album, dude. I still have it on CD. Actually, yeah, because fuck, when did that come out? That came out in what, 05, 06? It had to have, yeah, it had to come out. I got to look it up now. Undoing Ruin, yes, 2005. So yeah, I had that with me on CD. Actually, I stuffed it in my green weenie duffel and took it overseas with me. That and a couple other albums, dude. I also had Morbid Angel's Heretic album. I had a Gorgoroth album. I had the Darkest Hour Undoing Ruin. Amon Amarth versus the World. And then like a couple other albums. Like I crammed those with a portable CD player in my green weenie duffel when I deployed. Yeah, 05. You like Deliver Us better? It came out in 07. Yeah, Deliver Us was good. I like Deliver Us quite a bit too. But I mean, I heard Hidden Hands of a Sadist Nation and Undoing Ruin first, and those are my two favorite albums. And then Deliver Us would be my third favorite album. Yeah, I really like that. But like, I mean, there's so many good metalcore bands from that time period. I mean, and some had just one-off albums, like As Hope Dies. But then you get End This Day. That was a pretty good band. They had a couple albums. Embrace the End. Conducting from the Grave, one of my other favorite metalcore bands. A little more on the technical side, but really good metalcore. Conducting from the Grave. Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. I mean, you name it. And then, of course, like some of the bigger names, you know, August Burns Red and all them. You know, As I Lay Dying, you know, all those bands and stuff. You know, like that era of metalcore was just the best. as far as the subgenre goes, it was the best. Just so good. That is, yeah, that's my jam as far as that stuff goes. Because like, and I grew up, I grew up listening to, hearing thrash metal and Slayer, and then when death metal came around and all that. Like I remember those, and I remember hearing all that, early on when that stuff was coming out, and it stuck with me. And then black metal as well, kind of the same thing, and it just stuck with, and I've always listened to that stuff. And then metalcore really came into its own in that time period earlier on, like what we're talking about. It was just fantastic too. I really enjoyed a lot of that. So bring back old metalcore because it was good. And what black metal bands are doing right now is awesome. What death metal bands are doing right now is awesome. In all the splintering subgenres, like it's all good stuff. They're staying true to their roots, but also like expanding a lot. I like the avant-garde fusion stuff too. Again, bands like Ulcerate or Ad Nauseum, number of other projects. They're just really good, just really good stuff. Musicians are a lot more talented now even than what they were like in the 80s and 90s. In a lot of ways. I mean, obviously you have your outliers like dudes like John Petrucci and stuff, which I love, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy now. Next weirdest I really got into was Between the Buried and Me. Crazy Brilliant. Yes, Between the Buried and Me is really good. Silent Circus, fantastic album. Alaska was good too. I have Colors as well. I liked that one quite a bit, but it was quite a bit of a change from what I was used to from them. Silent Circus and Alaska are definitely my two favorite albums from Between the Buried and Me. Then you found After the Burial. Yeah, hell yeah. Their albums with the old guitarist. Yeah, rest in peace. Were really good. Yeah, absolutely. Rare Form, my favorite album of theirs. Rare Form. Yeah. Nothing. Dude, Berserker. Dude, that song goes so hard. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you, dude. And then we just unfortunately just a couple of days ago was anniversary of losing Trevor from Black Dahlia murder again. They started back in those days too, back in that time period, and I've been following them since the beginning, since right before heard the EP, and then Unhallowed came out way back in the day. It was like what 03, and pretty much followed them up. I followed them real heavy up until Everblack, and then members had changed and stuff. I was really disappointed. I shouldn't have let them go because they've put out really good albums since then. I've gotten back into following them though because I really like Black Dahlia Murder, and I still listen to the old stuff all the time too. Nocturnal, God, Miasma, Unhallowed. So Unhallowed, Miasma, and Nocturnal are all tied for top three for my number one for albums for Black Dahlia, and then Deflorate after that because it's right up there too. And then Ritual. Ritual was okay. Everblack was really good. Abysmal, probably their weakest album. And then Nightbringers was good. And then the Verminous, the last one they had put out before Trevor died, was really good too. For the most part, I enjoyed that. I would put Verminous right above Abysmal near the bottom. But like everything else, kind of above that. But yeah, it was, dude. Yeah, Nocturnal's so good. Nocturnal is so good, man. Well, like following it from the beginning, I mean, Unhallowed and Miasma have a very special place with me. So, but dude, yeah. Gotta bounce, bro. You take care. Good to catch up with you live. Yeah, dude. Yeah, brother. Absolutely. We'll have to. We got to connect. If you're on Discord, I'm on Discord. D.J. The Metalhead Mercenary, just all crammed to one word. If you're on Discord. Otherwise, yeah, I'll catch you in the next live, man. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Go blast some Nocturnal now. And some Deliver Us. Come on. Need all the good stuff. Appreciate you coming in. So there's like 2 people in here now. That's cool. We lost a couple, unfortunately, but that's okay. I usually don't have that many people in here anyway. So yes, dude. Oh, go put on Conducting from the Graves When Legends Become Dust album. Trust me. Love that album. Also, Veil of Maya, The Common Man's Collapse. That album, dude, I don't know what it is. The kick drum, the kick on that album is perfection. Just the perfect amount of clicky and meaty. Just, so good. Yes. When Legends Become Dust by Conducting from the Grave. Fantastic album. You'll dig it, dude. It is really good technical metalcore. Really good, dude. Dreadful Midnight. Don't know if I talked about my other project. Yeah, you did. We talk in email. You mentioned it to me. Yeah, I like it. I like that stuff too, man. Freaking, I like all your stuff. You do. You're a good musician and a good songwriter, and I enjoy your music, dude. So keep doing it. You'll have to let me know when the new album drops. So, and I will be sure to let everyone know when the other albums drop. Pre-orders for the Void Blight album are up with Vargeist Records. I made a community post about that as well, so that's out there too. And then when like Eldarion drops and everything, like I'll be putting up stuff about those too. So, but yeah, anyone else? Any? We've got about 5 minutes left. We're going on 2 hours here, which is the length that I do my live streams for normally. So, if anyone else has any questions or topics of discussion, the two people that are in here, you got anything else? Throw it out there, and we can talk about it real quick. Otherwise, I'll start rounding this off. Send an email when it's released. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Nail the vocals at your weak point. I like your vocals in some of your other stuff that you've done, man. And like kind of that I know some of like the effect with stuff, like that lo-fi black metal style and stuff. Like I like that quality to it, especially for that type of music. For black metal it's appropriate, it's so I think you do a pretty good job with it. And I mean, even some of your because you did it was a while back, you did more kind of like chanting or something, if I remember correctly. And that was really good too. I enjoyed that. So yeah, no, don't disparage yourself too much there, bud. You do some good stuff. So, but yeah, if anyone else has anything else, got about 4 minutes left, and then I'm bouncing out of here. I'm gonna go eat supper. Oh, okay. Dreadful Midnight, you're moving to the Baltics in July. Good stuff, dude. That's awesome. I think you'll like it there. If you can handle the cold, I think you'll like it there. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Very good. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to move, especially to another country. No matter how interconnected y'all are with the trains and everything over there, it's still not cheap. It's not easy. Well, the train there is like, I don't know, it's blocked off by whatever that icon is there. 10 euros, 100 euros, I don't know. Yeah, but you gotta move all your stuff though, so that costs more. Then you got to find a place to rent. You got to deal with whatever visa, residency, citizenship, whatever with the country you're going to. It adds up. Thankfully, some of the Baltic countries are not as expensive as others. So, and then depending on what country it is, if they're on the euro or whatever currency they're on too, it just depends with that too. Could be more or less expensive for just daily goods or whatever. So, all right. Well, I think it's about time to round it up. Got about 1 minute left to hitting the 2 hour mark. So, and I think it's just you and I in here, Dreadful. Take just clothes. Can't take all your stuff. Well, make sure you take your instruments and stuff. Take your computer with you and stuff. That way you can keep working on music and stuff. Come on. Can't abandon that. But yeah, so I'm going to close it out here. I appreciate everyone who did tune in. And I'm glad that you could see me, even though I can't see me and whatever else jacked up is going on the YouTube side in the YouTube studio here. It's weird because I have nothing to look at right now. Um, there's a couple of things that I just cannot see for whatever reason. But glad everyone tuned in. Thank you all for all of the great questions and the great discussions in the topic. Great discussions in the chat with all the topics. It was good stuff, and it was a good time. So again, weird YouTube studio end stuff going on. But I'm glad everything worked out and that you all could see me. So that'll about round it off here. Yeah, have a good one too, Dreadful Midnight. That'll round it off here. So thank you again for tuning in. And as always, metal up. Out.